Hello everybody, good evening and welcome to the United Stand. This is your latest Manchester United transfer news as we face Judgement Day tomorrow. Many people probably don't realise this, but Manchester United over the next 24 to 36 hours, I suppose it could carry on to Friday a little bit, before we get on that plane to go to Thailand and Australia, Manchester United are going to face a massive 24 hours, and we'll be talking about that. Some interesting developments around Ronaldo, a couple of signings as well. But don't snooze on this. I'll stay from the start. Don't think anything's going to happen with De Jong. That would be a major surprise. This is about two signings and Ronaldo and what's going to happen in the next 24 hours. Judgment Day's right. Ten Hag, Ronaldo, things especially there. Really big news to bring you on that. Lots to get involved with tonight. Also want a bit of a free-for-all as well. I think we've had I just want to get people's comments tonight. Like what do you think about what's going on, what the future's going to be. Loads to discuss around that as well. But first of all, as you can see on my right, it's Wednesday night. We're sponsored by Manscaped. We're going to be cutting through all the crap tonight, and you can be trimming the grass to make the yard look bigger. It's officially summertime and everybody's talking about looking good for the warmer months, but few have the balls to do it. Well, it's time to nut up or shut up and take the easiest step looking sexy this summer by using Manscaped. Manscaped is trusted by over 4 million men worldwide. Dive headfirst into summer by going to manscaped.com, the link's in the description, and using the code UNITEDSTAND for 20% off plus free shipping. The Manscaped Performance Package 4.0 has everything you need to prepare for that summer body. Inside the package, you'll find the Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer, the Weed Whacker, ear and nose trimmer, crop preserver, ball deodorant, crop reviver toner, performance boxer briefs, and a travel bag to help your goods. You can also scan the QR code next to me on your phone if you're technologically minded. But the Lawnmower 4.0 is where all the magic happens. Trim the grass to make the yard look bigger. It really does make a big difference down there. It's got an advanced skin safe technology. It's got a 7,000 RPM motor. It's got an LED light for a more precise shave. And did I mention the trimmer is waterproof too? Manscaped have even thrown in the Performance Package 4.0. 20% off, free shipping worldwide. And because Manscaped cares about everybody who watches the United Stand, all you need to do is use the code UNITEDSTAND to get 20% off and free shipping, or scan the QR code next to me with your phone. Fantastic products, they really are. Been using them for a long time, whether it's up the nose or... I very nearly said something else then. Whether it's up the nose or down below, trim the grass to make the yard look bigger. Manscaped.com. Thank you very much for sponsoring the show. Check it out. You won't regret it. 20% off and free worldwide shipping. Right, let's get on with the show. Let's get on with the show. Look, 24 hours. Tomorrow is the big day, really. I mean, tomorrow is the big day, really, because there's been a few rumours around Ronaldo that there's a plane going to Madrid and stuff like this. And I think it's really important to say from the off that tomorrow is a big day for Manchester United Football Club. Ronaldo, Lisandro Martinez, Eriksen, these are three things that we need to resolve before we go on that plane on Friday. Now, De Jong, I think people are dreaming. Anthony, you're dreaming. Like those two things are going to probably run on. But Lisandro Martinez, Eriksen, and Ronaldo, they're three big things that must be resolved by Friday. On Friday, they're launching a kit. What are Man United going to do to get you to buy a kit? Because I ain't going to buy a kit. I'm too old for that. But I'm not going to buy one. But, 20 years ago, I might have done. And things like Frankie de Jong and Cristiano Ronaldo would probably be one of the motivators to do that. So what are Manchester United, brand Chester United, going to do to get you to buy the kit on Friday? Because I don't think, with all due respect, Malacia and Eriksen are really going to have people queuing round Old Trafford for the megastore. So United need to produce something here. One thing is for certain, the Glazers are getting pinched. Everywhere they look at the moment, money is pouring out of that club. The stock price is dropping. The fan belief is dropping. They've not had the transfer window they wanted to have. So it's a massive 24 hours to 36 hours for Manchester United. And look, I suppose I want to get people's points, but I want to just get a few things in as well. Hi, Mark. If Ronaldo is not on training tomorrow or pre-season Friday, would you say that's the end for Ronaldo at Manchester United? I love the show, says Mark Hamilton. Welcome to the Members Club, Len. Thanks everyone who's getting involved in the Fantasy Premier League thing we've launched as well on the members section. Make sure if you are a member, you check out that video and get yourself entered. It's going to be good fun. Florence says don't buy the kit. Well, it's up to everybody what they decide to do, of course. But let's just go through this and where we are at the moment. Now, I have been told 2 weeks ago that Manchester United transfer window is not going to plan. And this was from somebody pretty close to the club. They've given us good information in the past, and they said Manchester United's transfer plan is not going to plan at all. There's a lot of hard workers in there. There's a lot of good people in there, and they are working hard, but they're just hitting barrier after barrier. Some of them are not their fault. Some of them are their fault. Some of it's just not good planning. Some of it's just incompetence. A lot of it, they are getting unlucky. And a lot of it is trying to get a lot of things done too soon. Like, there's a lot of infrastructure at Manchester United that's not prepared, and United are struggling because of that. So, look, that's the story from inside Manchester United. It doesn't mean that they can't resolve things, but things are not going to plan at the moment. This has been compounded by the news that's come out in relation to Cristiano Ronaldo. And going back to what that previous person said, we're starting to get more understanding of what's going on with Ronaldo now. And if you cut through all the sensationalist nonsense that's trying to just blame shift, and unfortunately we are at a football club where blame shifting is basically the number one thing. Whether you're a player, a manager, a board member, their first reaction at United is to blame somebody else, and unfortunately that's a cultural thing. They're always looking to blame people, and that rubs off on the journalists who are close to the club as well. Of course it will. So if you cut through all the blame culture, because there's not always somebody to blame, or sometimes there's both sides to blame, isn't there? It's very rarely that there's one side to blame in these matters. But if you cut through all the blame shifting, United are quite surprised by Ronaldo's actions. I will say that, and I'll explain why. Evening, Mark. Just a thought on Anthony on his contract. His previous club will get a percentage of the fee. That's why Ajax wants a bigger fee. I agree with that. I think you make a good point. Yudika, welcome to the members club, and also Harry, welcome as well. So, in relation to Ronaldo, I'll be fair to the club and say they have been somewhat surprised by this reaction. Having said that, to be fair to Ronaldo, it's not for the reason that people think it is. Ronaldo now odds on to join Chelsea. Are you worried, says Mejak? Well, I am worried. I'm very worried because we've not had a statement from Ronaldo to say this is nonsense. We've just had radio silence from Ronaldo. And I hate to say this, but I think there's a fallout between Ronaldo and United that is almost getting to the point that it's irreparable. There's not been any fallout between him and Sir Alex. That relationship is tight. I know there's a few people saying, well, it's disrespectful, Sir Alex. I don't think deep down Sir Alex thinks the club's being run very well either. And I think that between Ronaldo and Sir Alex, that respect will always be there. It's a really close bond. I think both people probably feel quite let down by what's happened to Manchester United rather than being let down by each other. But away from Sir Alex, and the day-to-day running of Manchester United is not Sir Alex Ferguson. There is a real breakdown in communication between Ronaldo and Mendes. Now, whether that can be mended, I hope it can. But let's just work through where we are with Ronaldo. Typical Glazers using Old Trafford for the stage for the Ladies Euros to distract us all. Keep up the good work, Mark, says Alexander. Welcome to the members club, Aravind. So, with regards to Ronaldo, the club are quite surprised by his transfer request because... And this is where the waters sort of get muddied a bit, because a lot of people want to say it's because we're not in the Champions League, but it's not really because of that. If you think about this logically, it's not because we're not in the Champions League. I've always said this, and I think people are starting to realise this now. It's not because we're not in the Champions League. That may be well used as an excuse, but Ronaldo knew we weren't in the Champions League in April. He knew we weren't in the Champions League when he spoke about Ten Hag in May, and he spoke about winning titles this next season, and he spoke about being excited about Erik Ten Hag, and Erik Ten Hag spoke about being excited to work with Ronaldo. Everybody knew at that point we weren't in the Champions League. What's happened is that George Mendes, being George Mendes, has gone out speaking about lots of different clients, and he's spoken about Cristiano Ronaldo. And clubs have expressed an interest. So Ronaldo's been told about this interest, and then on top of that, he's seen the lack of ambition from Manchester United. And this has started basically the ball rolling. Ronaldo didn't really think he was going to be leaving Manchester United. But Mendes has offered up ways out, and then he's observed United not really be that ambitious in the transfer market, and basically he's got options to leave and go and play for a club that can win the Champions League and play in the Champions League and win their domestic title, or he can stay at United for another year where there's absolutely no chance of that happening. And that's why it's spiralled over the last few weeks. There actually wasn't any intention for Ronaldo to go back in May. But United's lack of activity and ambition and Mendes' ability to find options has given Ronaldo itchy feet. On top of that, there may well be theories that he's not been offered the captaincy and it's going to stay with Maguire, which would further piss him off. And also, the reduction in the wage he could take as a bit of a piss take, considering how he performed last year. Why should he get a pay cut when he actually performed? So there's a lot of reasons why this relationship between Manchester United and Ronaldo has eroded over the last fortnight, really, because back in the end of May, this was not the situation, and there's a number of factors as to why it's happened. The big question is, as we approach Judgment Day tomorrow, is can this be fixed? Will he go on the tour? There's a lot of financial obligations on that tour. There's a lot of brands waiting on Ronaldo and Man United being on that tour. Can United get him on that plane? And I tell you what, this is huge. I don't think we've ever been in this situation before, because Ronaldo's bigger than that squad. Ronaldo is bigger than Manchester United, to be honest, in relation to where we are at the moment. Man United's bigger than any player, I completely agree, in my mind and probably in all of yours. But as pure brands, Manchester United's brand is not as big as Cristiano Ronaldo, and they need him on that plane on Friday. The question is, do they want him on that plane? And the question is, will Ronaldo be on that plane? So it's a massive, massive next day and a half. And I think, you know, Manchester United fans need to sort of get their head around that, because that plane isn't waiting. And if he's on it, good. If he's not on it, I think it's curtains to Ronaldo and Manchester United. So, you know, predict what you think. That's what's going to happen over the next few hours. It's bizarre how much Maguire is protected by United. I just don't understand why that is. Could it be the English bias? As Rohit, welcome to the Members Club, Aravind. I mean, look, I don't want to spend my time talking about Harry Maguire. I don't think he belongs in the same conversation as a decent Manchester United player. This guy is just not that talented. You know, actually, funnily, I mean, this is not really about what the show's going to be about tonight, but a few people, we were talking about this on the afternoon show about, if you added up all Ronaldo's trophies and you added up all of the team's trophies that he played with last year, who's got the most trophies? Has Ronaldo got more trophies? Well, the honest answer is no, because Varane's won about 15 trophies in his life, and I think Ronaldo's about 24 if you don't include Super Cups and what you've won for your national team. So major domestic trophies, I think Ronaldo's around 25 and Varane's around 15. But this is the interesting one. If you had a team of De Gea, Dalot, Lindelof, Maguire, Shaw, McTominay, Fred, Sancho, Bruno, Rashford, and took Ronaldo out, so those 10 players across their career have won about 17 trophies, and Ronaldo's won 25. So obviously you've got to take Varane out for that to happen. But I mean, Maguire and McTominay have won nothing. Maguire's won nothing in his career. Like, Fred's won stuff. He's won Ukrainian league titles. Bruno's won a couple of Portuguese cups. I think Dalot won the league, although he probably didn't play much with Porto. Luke Shaw, I would imagine, has probably won a Europa League, an FA Cup, maybe a Carabao Cup. I think Rashford's done the same. Maguire's won nothing. Absolutely nothing. I mean, I genuinely do not know why that guy is the captain of Manchester United. He's one of the only players in the starting lineup who's not won anything. Whatever you think about him as a captain, and I don't think he is one, he's never bloody won anything. I think he won a promotion, but that's not a major trophy, is it? And I think it was a playoff. Nathan, welcome to the Members Club. Has Maguire apologised for liking the wage cut post? No, he hasn't. He said it was a mistake, Mojo. And he'll be let off, because that's what United do. They'll let him off. There'll be no repercussions. He'll probably have the captain's armband next year, because that's what United's like. It's run by people in that dressing room, whether they like it or not. Can we give Ronaldo dividends for him to stay, says Mikael Roach. And sorry, Mark, I'm a few minutes behind, but I would like Ronaldo to go to Chelsea so he can show his detractors how wrong they are. Joke of a club, says Rob. It'd be interesting if he went to Chelsea. I would not like it, and I'm not wearing blue because I want it to happen, by the way. That's just a coincidence. Do you consider this for a good transfer, Mark? McTominay plus 50 for DC Rays and Maguire plus 35 million for De Ligt. Yeah, they're not stupid, Saeed. Do you think Juventus would want Maguire? Ronaldo hasn't posted on social media for almost a week. Surely it's hurting his brand and image not posting training pictures on social media, says Majak. Big 24 hours on Ronaldo. It's Judgment Day tomorrow. What I would like to happen tomorrow is for Ronaldo to fly into Carrington and have a chat with Erik ten Hag. And I think there's an opportunity there. But you know what? You try and talk to people about this, and it's very, very difficult to establish what's going on. And I'm not a journalist, so it really is difficult to understand what is going on. I know that he was always meant to be coming back tomorrow, But that was before all the transfer shit. So I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. I think if he turns up tomorrow, he deserves a lot of apologies from United fans, because all this he's skipped training bollocks. Actually, he was always meant to be turning up tomorrow. So let's wait and see. But, you know, I don't know which way it's going to go. It's Judgment Day. I mean, if he's going to be on that plane on Friday and he's been in Portugal and everywhere like that, I mean, to be fair, Ronaldo doesn't need to bring his family back, does he, to Manchester? I mean, he can just turn up on Friday with his bag. So let's go to Australia. He doesn't need to bring all his family back. They could stay in Portugal or wherever for a few more weeks, can't they? So it can happen very quickly. It'll be interesting to see. I feel like we compromised as a fan base a lot last season, and that carried into the transfer window. Any slight positive thing is overly celebrated, says Daniel Luciano. Fabrizio is tweeting about De Ligt being available for 85 million euros or Koulibaly for 30 or 40. Would be happy with either and wouldn't be worrying about Harry Maguire as captain. I don't think Koulibaly, Tom, would work in the way that Erik ten Hag wants to play. Obviously, De Ligt would. Mark, a bit off topic, but how good was Paul McGrath? I was talking about Paul McGrath, Chase, last week, because when I went down to the cricket to watch the Oval, I went with the Villa fan, and we were talking about Paul McGrath, and what a great player he was. Obviously, he had his own demons. I've read his book, but I mean, the guy didn't even bother training because of his knees, and he was brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. If he hadn't have had his problems with alcohol and problems with his knees, he probably would have been one of the world's greatest ever defenders. I mean, he's very, very good. Anthony should join the Brazilian Revolution at Arsenal. Jesus will be our new Alexis Sanchez. Also, Martinez doesn't like the cold weather in the north. It's warmer in London, says Zane. I mean, Zane, I'll humour you for a moment. I suppose there is a scenario where this won't happen. But Ronaldo leaves, De Jong stays at Barcelona, Martinez picks Arsenal. I mean, you know, and we don't sign Anthony. Yeah, imagine that. We'll probably get a combination of all those bad things, but yeah, I don't think all of them will happen. Ronaldo's probably hurt by the fact that the club are basically backing Maguire in this. Ronaldo has done 10 times more for this club than Maguire, says Nate. I mean, look, I think we're sort of being a bit unfair on Harry Maguire. He's never won anything. He's probably not good enough to play for Manchester United. It's not his fault we spent £80 million on him. It's not his fault he doesn't have a winning mentality or a mentality to play at a big club and gets involved in bloody social media stupid stuff and puts his hands in his ears when he scores against Andorra. I mean, I think with Maguire and a few other players at United, it's a prime example of being a boxing above your weight. Like, it's not his fault. Aaron Wan-Bissaka's in the same position. I mean, Aaron Wan-Bissaka doesn't act like a twat on social media, I admit that. But there's a few players at United who just clearly, it's just not the level they should be at, or the level we think it should be. Because I think Man United should be up there with Liverpool and Man City. And there's quite a few players in our team who are nowhere near that level. So I just think, in fairness to them, they didn't walk into Carrington and say, pick me. Certain managers and certain director of footballs went and bloody bought them. So, you know. Yeah, shout out for Dividino in the midfield. Can't wait to see what Dividino's all about. Dividendino. Yeah. So look, on Ronaldo, the summary is that the next 24 to 36 hours are massive. If he's not on that plane, that's the end of Ronaldo at Manchester United. It's as simple as that. There's no reason for him not to go on that tour. If he doesn't go on that tour, that's curtains to his career. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm hoping he's going to be on that plane. And if he is, then I think it's been a drama in a teacup. But we'll have to just wait and see. But have no doubts about it. I think some United fans are getting quite relaxed. You know, I get people saying to me, oh, Mark, be more positive. You're overreacting. I don't think it's overreacting to be in our worst ever season, the summer after it, only appointing a manager and a £13 million left back from Feyenoord and a freebie from Eriksen. Like, our best player wants to leave. We've bought nobody of significance yet, and we've sold nobody of significance yet. I don't think we're in a great position. I don't think it's the time to be relaxed. But I'm telling you now, the next 36 hours is probably going to be bigger than anything that we've had in a long time. It's really, it's like Christmas Eve, but it might be in a bad way. Like, we are on the verge of some very big things happening at Manchester United. And I'm not talking about the kit launch. The Glazers are probably tuning in going, he's building up the kit launch. No, I'm not talking about that. By Friday lunchtime, or whatever time that flight is on Friday, we'll basically know whether Ronaldo's here or not. We'll also know some other things as well. Our mascot needs a stunt double in case he flights with time. Maguire would be perfect stunt double for our mascot, says Zayn Miasi. So on Ronaldo, as I've said, we've spoken about it. Let's wait and see what happens. But what I would say with real certainty is that this is not about Champions League football. It's not. He knew there was no Champions League football ages ago. He spoke positively about next season when we knew we didn't have Champions League football. This is about Mendes finding him options, United not being ambitious, probably the wages thing. He probably feels pissed off that he's had to have a pay cut when he didn't deserve it, and maybe the captaincy as well. So I think basically the problems here is that Ronaldo's been given options by his agent, and United have treated him badly in his eyes. And I think that's where, United have got to take their blame as much as Mendes. So that Anthony bid was leaked by club for good PR, says Majak. You know what? I've done a video on Anthony's bid. I don't really want to talk about Anthony massively. That's my big positive of the day. But with Anthony, I was talking to a few people this evening, and they were like, I don't believe the Anthony... give us your top four, Mark. Top four what? I'm happy to do a top four. It's time to panic, says GMAC. But I think that, we can all spend £80 million on people and make a mistake. If anyone watches my career mode, if you know, you know. We can all spend £80 million on a complete flop, as I've found. But on Anthony, some people today were saying, well, it's clearly not true that we've put a bid in because nobody else has followed it up. We had James Robson saying that we put a bid in of 51 million and nobody else has said anything. I don't know about that bid. I'll tell you what I know about. But what I do know is that James Robson has been pretty... Well, a lot of what he was saying a few weeks ago was what we were saying. So, and I don't speak to him. So he's obviously getting similar information, and that information was good. So I don't know why somebody who's had a good summer... It's a bit like Alex Crook on Talk Sport. Has had a really good summer for transfers. Why would you ruin that by putting out that we put a bid in for Anthony when we haven't? So I do think there's some truth in it. What I do know is true is that Anthony and his agent are really negotiating with Ajax to get this move that's good for everybody, that's not unrealistic. So let's wait and see what happens with that. How much could we get for him if he decides to leave? I'm not looking forward about next season in July, says Barry. I presume you're talking about Ronaldo, Barry. For Ronaldo, 1 year left on his contract. It would be about removing his wages for United. I don't think we'd get much money for Ronaldo. I mean, I like 10 millions in my head, but I don't know whether that's unrealistic. Nothing more than that. Fergie said, while selling Beckham, no player of any club is bigger than that club, says Ronald. Yeah, but that's when Manchester United were a big club, Ronald. We can't keep living in the past. We're not that Manchester United anymore. We're owned by the Glazers. We've had 9 years of a circus act. I know we all love this football club, but let's not pretend it's some noble moral cause. We're owned by greedy people who rip us apart for money. This whole we're bigger than any player bullshit doesn't belong to this club anymore. Until we get our identity back, we can't say to clubs, go away, we're bigger than you. We're owned by the Glazers. It's Glazer United. I know what Manchester United is, and so do you, but the sad, sorry thing, and the thing that winds up all fans, even if we don't agree on everything, is that this club is owned by the Glazers, and it rips your heart out. It really does. So sitting there and going, well, such and such can go because nobody's bigger than Manchester United. Man United's owned by the Glazers. Let's not pretend Manchester United stands for anything more than, in the current day, a cash cow to the Glazers. Now, obviously what Man United means to me and you is something very, very different. And that's where we get confused because we know what Manchester United is. And when someone wants to leave, we're like, you're turning your back on what we understand Manchester United to be. But in reality, Manchester United is not that. It's in the hands of greedy people. And we really need to get it out. Hi Mark, Richard Ferdinand on his channel mentioned a family member of Ronaldo's is unwell and he has to be close by, says Paul O'Brien. Well, again, why would you disbelieve that? I mean, as I say, there's people saying he's not turning up for training on purpose, but there could be a lot of apologies required. I think this is why people should always wait for the truth to come out, because until the truth comes out, it's just speculation. And that's why I've sort of stuck with Ronaldo on this, because there's never been any clear indication that he's boycotting training. Marcelo, welcome to Members Club. Mark, we need you on the first Opal Ad of the season to stick up for Ronaldo when Carragher opens his jar of bitterness and slander. Scott, I nearly went on the last one. The only reason I didn't is because there was someone on the panel I don't like. But I'd happily do it. Needing a defensive midfield-minded midfielder. Any update on the Frankie de Jong deal? As an aside, saw you offer some dude 7 million a week, says Rory. I know. I paid someone 7 million a week on my FIFA career modes. Yeah, it was a mistake. What did you ask anyway, Rory? We need a defensive-minded midfielder. Any update on Frankie de Jong? On Frankie de Jong, I think we're moving to a Frankie de Jong free zone. Frankie de Jong, for me, if you've tuned in a little bit late, as Man United fans, we're just about to walk into a massive 36 hours. Judgment Day. Will Ronaldo be on that plane on Friday? Will we get Lisandro Martinez in? Massive, massive 24 hours for Manchester United. And I think some people are sleeping on it. They don't realise just how massive it could be. I'm not including Frankie de Jong in that. I don't think there's any prospect of Frankie de Jong being a big news story in the next 2 days. I'd love to be wrong, but I don't think he is, so I'm not really thinking about it. Majek says that the problem is that since the news that Ronaldo wanted to leave, the club haven't made an effort to keep him by giving him the captaincy and signings. No, they haven't. I think that's a really mature observation. I mean, if I was Manchester United and Ronaldo was saying what he was saying, I would be putting in a bid for Anthony. I would be making sure we got Lisandro Martinez. I'd be on the phone to Ronaldo saying, we've got Malacia, which is a backup left back to compete with Luke Shaw. We've got a centre back coming in because we know we need one of those. We've got Frankie de Jong coming in, who's going to revolutionise that midfield. You've got Donny van der Beek coming back. We've got Garner we're going to give a chance to. We may still go for Tielemans later in the summer. We're going to get Anthony in, who's going to put crosses in. We've got Sancho off the left. We've got some young lads. We've got you. I want you to be the captain. We are doing things and we want you to be part of it. I would be doing that 100% if I was interested in the footballing side of Manchester United. But unfortunately, there are people in that club who pretend it's about the football, but they know full well they're being paid by people who are about money. Fergie said, while selling Beck, I've done that one. And welcome to the Members Club, Marcelo. Thank you very much. So, away from Ronaldo and on to the next thing. Let's talk Lisandro Martinez, because again, I mean, if it wasn't bad enough or good enough that we're going to have a big decision on Ronaldo in the next day and a half, probably tomorrow, we're also going to get, in that same time period, a decision on Lisandro Martinez. Now, what I was told about Lisandro Martinez tonight, and this is from Dutch sources, is that the expectation is that a decision will be made on Lisandro Martinez by Friday. So Friday is 2 days away, and effectively, it's Arsenal against Manchester United. Now, Manchester United are expected to win this race. And if we do win this race, then it's another signing before Friday. Now, what I was also told is it's very unlikely he's going to go on the tour on the plane on Friday because he's trained with Ajax today. Tomorrow is Thursday. Even if they agreed a deal, he'd have to come over to Manchester, do a medical. It's just highly unlikely that he'll be on the plane on Friday. He'd probably join up with Eriksen for the Australian part of the tour. But Ajax want to get this resolved. Arsenal want to get it resolved. And obviously United are favourites to get him. So we should be getting a final answer from Lisandro Martinez. Who I think Ray says, watching behind, is the Anthony deal on because de Jong is dead in the water? No, Ray, don't worry about that. Given what we know about the culture of this club, would you want to stay if you're Ronaldo? Let's be honest. Andrew, I'm going to put a poll up for that because I think it's a really good question. Hi, Mark. My mum and dad, who died 10 and 7 years ago, respectively, were massive Manchester United fans, says Jack, and I can't imagine what they would think about the club now, says Jack. Well, rest in peace to your mum and dad, Jack, but I think, there's probably quite a few watching who are in the similar situation. I support Manchester United because of my granddad. My granddad's been dead for over 10 years now. He was the one who got me into football. He just lived, breathed and worshipped football. He managed amateur teams. He used to pay his players. My grand didn't even know what, absolutely loved football. And I used to come home from school as a, young primary school kid, and he was a builder. He had his own business, and, on the dark nights where you couldn't be filming at like 4 o'clock in the autumn and the winter, he'd be there having his tea. We'd be watching videos of Brazil 1970 and the story of Manchester United and all that. So, yeah, he wouldn't recognise what football's become anyway because of money, but he certainly wouldn't like what's happened to Manchester United. It's not acceptable, is it? Frankie isn't coming, Mark. I read he's owed 11 million in unpaid wages because of the financial restrictions that Barca have had. But Ivan, is that not more of a reason for him to come? Because I don't think there's a way that Barcelona are going to pay that money. I think United will play it. Zachary and Dan McIntyre, welcome to the Members Club. Thank you very much for joining. I'm just going to run a poll here because I think there's a couple of things. I wanted to go back to Lisandro Martinez. But would you go if you were Ronaldo? I just want to see what the general chat is. So if you were in Ronaldo's situation and United weren't in the Champions League, I suppose you could use that as a reason. You hadn't been handed the captaincy. There'd been no signings yet, and you've got options to go to a club that's in the Champions League that's ambitious. Would you go or would you stay? I just want to know. Just want to see what you think. Do you think Maguire-Ronaldo tension is also due to Ronaldo believing Maguire should be one of the players sold, says Tony. Yeah, well, he's not wrong. So quite a lot of people saying they would go if you were Ronaldo. I mean, I'm not going to sit on the fence here. Please smash a like on the video if you're watching, by the way. Would I go if I was Ronaldo? Yes, I would. If I was Ronaldo, I would go, because Ronaldo is thinking about his career and what's best for his career. And really, United haven't done enough to make him want to stay. And if he's got a better option and the club are behaving badly, and the club have said to him, you know, I don't know whether this is true, but if the club have said to him, you're not going to be the captain, it's going to be Harry Maguire or, you know, or whoever, and they've not made any signings, and you know next season's going to be a real struggle, then I think I probably would go. Where I would not agree with this is if I was me playing for Manchester United and I was 37 and I only had 1 year left or 2 years left at the top, and I was a Man United fan and I knew there was a new rebuild starting, I wouldn't turn my back on the club because I love the club too much. So, but that's because I'm a fan, and it would be a dream to put the shirt on at Old Trafford every time I got the chance to do it. I played at Old Trafford about 3 or 4 years ago. I knew it would probably be the only time I did it, and I just didn't want to come off the pitch. So as a fan, I wouldn't turn my back on Manchester United, but no football, hardly any of the players in that dressing room are like us. They're not. They're footballers, and they've got to think of their own careers. Robert, welcome to the members club. Zachary as well. Myron says, where there is a reason why a club like Bayern would pay for Sadio Mane but not for Ronaldo. Since leaving Real Madrid 5 years ago, every team he has gone to has become worse, says Miran. I'm trying not to be disrespectful here. Mark, if I was Ronaldo, I would stay until January, see what's changed, and where we are then, go if we haven't improved, says Lee. Remember, we've got a World Cup to come as well, so it's a big thing to move. I feel with Juventus, they were coming towards the end of their sort of run anyway. I watch a lot of Italian football, and I felt Juventus were becoming a bit of a tired team anyway. And I don't feel that... I felt when Ronaldo went to Juventus, they weren't going to win the Champions League. So I felt they were a bit tired as a team. I think they'd had better days. But in relation to Manchester United, there's just no way last season was on Ronaldo. Like, there's just absolutely no way. I can't be a hypocrite here. Like, and I don't think anyone in the chat can be a hypocrite. I remember the start of last season when we didn't have Ronaldo. Remember, we didn't get Ronaldo till the end of August. So go back to the start of August when we had Sancho and Varane. And I think the opening game was Leeds. Didn't we play Southampton as well? I remember talking as a community about the season ahead with Sancho and Varane and the team that we had. And the big thing was, they're two really good signings, and we did finish second last year, but we haven't bought a midfielder. And I can't see, you know, I know Beth predicted we were going to win the league, but the vast majority of us were saying second at best, third or fourth, because we hadn't bought any midfielders. So if we were saying that before Ronaldo came in, how can you blame it on Ronaldo when he did come in? We didn't have a midfield. Like, people were calling us Bagel FC before the start of the season. So we weren't a worse team because of Ronaldo. We were a worse team because we didn't have a midfield. And on top of that, our centre backs were bloody appalling last year, and our full backs. So, you know, we were a very poor team last year. You can't pin it onto Ronaldo, I'm afraid. Every deal could have been done a month ago. All signings in before pre-season and Ronaldo would stay. Same story every summer. They never learn, says Jordan. Jordan, I think you raise a great point. I've got absolutely no idea why we didn't bother to get our deals done early. Mark, if Ronaldo leaves, should Martial start next season or should we sign a striker? I think it will be Martial, VK. If Ronaldo leaves, he's leaving because we haven't bought players. And if we haven't bought players, it's because the budget's not very big. So I don't think Ronaldo leaves and we go and buy a striker. Mark, is not a part of you that just wants the circus that follows Ronaldo to end to same with Pogba, says Aram. Amazing players, but clubs can't handle it at the moment, says Aram. I don't think there is a circus around Ronaldo, though. I really don't. I think the journalists and the media create the circus. I think the bitter players in the United dressing room create the toxicity. When I see Ronaldo, I see a player that's ridiculously professional who just wants to win. I don't think that's a bad trait to have. Poor management, club structure, investment, 66 points being the mode since Sir Alex Ferguson left. No ambition, dilapidated facilities, and no Champions League. Yes, I would leave. And I think that's a great point from TJ as well. Let's not talk about last season like last season was a one-off. This has been building for years. Years and years. Where we are is a culmination of many things. Arnold, Ronaldo and Maguire to go to the pub, buy a round for fans and hear their concerns, says Joe. I know it's very cynical, but I wouldn't be surprised if we saw some United players doing some charity work soon, because that's exactly the sort of thing that these people who work... Remember Gary Neville called that person out? I can't remember who it was. There's somebody who works... He's an American guy. He works for Manchester United and he monitors the graphs for each player in relation to popularity, and he comes up with ideas on how they can get the graph up. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see some charity work or something like that soon from some of our players whose graphs are dropping a bit. I know it's very cynical, but I mean, you can't call it cynical when actually United employ people to do that. Robert, welcome to Members Club. Just whizzing through some chats here. Miran says there is a reason. I've done that one. Welcome to the Members Club. Azim. Andrew says the fact that players in the locker room would rather see one of the greatest that ever played leave so they can express themselves tells you everything you need to know. It does, Andrew. The fact that they want a winner out the dressing room shows you that they are basically losers, I suppose. We was in pole position to get Champions League. Ronaldo has done his part with goals. The rest of the team let him down apart from De Gea. He wants to play Champions League. Let him go. He owes us nothing, says Sean Turner. To put it into perspective, we've not a net spend of minus 23 Malaysia, 13.11 dividends. There you go, says Ivan Whelan. Sash says, holding out hope that it's all a ploy to make the Glazers pay up. It seemed to work with City last summer. Can't blame him for wanting to leave though, says Sashi. Mate, all I want is for Ronaldo to come back with a smile on his face and start training and then know that he's basically done this to try and get them to buy better players. I don't know whether he's going to go or stay. I really don't. I think he's pissed off and who knows. That season finishing second needs context. Liverpool were injury ridden. Chelsea had a crap manager and a transfer ban. Can't remember what happened to Spurs. Says Rory C. Chelsea didn't have a transfer ban. Chelsea went and bought half of the bloody Europe and gave it to Lampard, who didn't know what to do, and it was just imploded. That was when Tuchel came in halfway through and won the Champions League and nearly caught us in the league. So yeah, they did actually do quite well. But yeah, I mean, the person who said every deal could have been done a month ago. There'll be a time to dissect what's gone wrong with this transfer window or what's gone right with this transfer window. But as I said, I want to sort of steer it back. 77% of you said if you were Ronaldo, you would go, by the way. And we had quite a few votes on that. But I do want to steer it back to what we're talking about. Jet, welcome to the Members Club. Thank you for joining. This is a massive 24 hours for Manchester United. We will find out what the future is of Ronaldo in the next 24 hours, whether he's going to go on that tour or whether he's going to leave the club. And that's going to be a big thing to react to. And at the moment, it's speculation. And I know some people are preparing for the worst or wanting the worst or whatever you want to call it, but it's not a reality yet. When that comes a reality, that's a massive hole in that team. And I suppose the disappointment for me personally is that, and I'll use Ranić in this as well. If you'd said to me when the season ended that Ranić and Ronaldo wouldn't be here in July, I'd just gone, they've won. The bastards have won. Like, you know, the toxic people have won. Because Ronaldo is somebody who demanded winning, and Ranić is somebody who called out the bad people. And they're the fall guys. That is worrying. You know, like if you think of Gotham City and you've got Batman and the Joker, and you've got a choice of who you get rid of, you get rid of Batman, you pretty much know Gotham's going downhill. And I feel like that about United. Losing Ronaldo and Ranić, in my opinion, they were two very vocal, positive people who wanted to win. I don't rate Ranić as a coach, but I would have rated him as a builder of the club over the summer. And he certainly knew what the problems were. And I feel that if we lose Ranić and Ronaldo, in my own personal opinion, and people might think I'm wrong, we're actually losing the good people. We're actually losing the people who know what to do. Ranić's experience is far greater than anyone in that dressing room. And Ronaldo's winning mentality and professionalism is far bigger than anyone else in that dressing room. And for those two people to be the ones that get kicked out, leaving us with what's left behind, I feel like it is kicking Batman out of Gotham and leaving us with the Joker. So that leaves a bad taste in my mouth as well, because that worries me. We're basically getting left with the people who don't know how to win. We're basically getting left with the people who are more interested in themselves than they are in the team. And I think they will have a bounce. I think they'll want to prove everybody wrong, and we might have a good start to the season, but Leopards don't change their spots normally. And I think by Christmas, reality might bite. Arnold's going to fetch out the old fax machine if anyone comes in for Ronaldo, says Joshua. And Mark, it's untenable to have another season like last time. I can't see the likes of Maguire and Ronaldo working together anymore. It's wrong, but for the club, easier to get rid of Ronaldo than Maguire. Well, and again, Aram, I mean, you know, you're probably absolutely right. Maybe it's untenable for people like Maguire and Ronaldo to be in the same dressing room anymore because it was made untenable last season. But who should be going? Like, should it Ronaldo be going or Maguire be going? I mean, every single time it should be Maguire. And I don't really want both of them. I don't want either of them to go. I didn't expect either of them to go. But if you had to choose between those two, it would have to be Maguire who goes. I mean, he's 29. He's never won anything. Like, he's not had a very good season. There's more value in Maguire than Ronaldo as well. So I would move Maguire on, but I think the club are going to make the decision you think. Well, actually, I think Ronaldo's going to take the decision out of the club's hand, isn't he? Richard Arnold needs massively calling out, spouting bullshit to fans just to calm the situation. I tell you what, Ivan, I intend to, at some point over the summer, go back to those quotes from Richard Arnold when he met them United fans in the pub and just analyse it and see how much of it was bullshit. Mark, welcome to the Members Club. Thank you very much for joining. I want to go back to Lisandro Martinez because I didn't say what I wanted to say there. Let me just have a drink of this. So it's not only just a big 24 hours for Ronaldo and what's going to happen there. I think it's also a big 24 hours for Lisandro Martinez. I mean, I might be completely wrong, but I feel tomorrow something will happen with Lisandro Martinez. And I do feel that United will get him. But I just want to say on Lisandro Martinez, this is a big unknown for me. Like, it really is. Jurrien Timber put a tweet out today saying he's back. And I'd been following him on Twitter anyway. So I just replied to it and said, it's a shame you didn't back yourself because you'd have walked into that United defence. And I really think he would have done. I think Jurrien Timber's going to be a really world-class centre-back. And I think Ten Hag knows that. And that's why he wanted him his first choice. Remember, Ten Hag, first choice centre-back was Jurrien Timber. Remember that next season. Remember it now. We spoke about this at the start of the summer. John Murtagh has to deliver Erik Ten Hag his first choice positions. This is his first summer. It's a rebuild. You've got to deliver him number one. He hasn't delivered him number one in the striker. He didn't get Darwin Núñez. He hasn't delivered him number one in centre-back because we're not going to get Jurrien Timber. Probably going to get De Jong. That's a number one. Malacia was a number one. Anthony is a number one. Let's see if he gets him. But already he's not got him two of his number ones. With Timber, I didn't know loads about Timber. I like what I've seen of Timber, but knowing it was Ten Hag's number one makes it easier. Lisandro Martinez is not Ten Hag's number one choice. So already you know that he preferred Timber over Martinez. I don't know what to expect with Martinez is what I'm trying to say. I know a lot of people are excited about it, and I really hope he's going to be a success. But I'm not going to sit here and say, what an amazing centre-back Lisandro Martinez is. He's going to definitely be a success. He's going to bench Maguire and Varane and play centre-back on his own. Like, I don't know the answers to this. I hope it's going to be true. I really do. But I'm not going to sit here and say, yeah, let's get Lisandro Martinez and it's going to be a great signing, because I genuinely just don't know. I really don't know whether it's going to be a good signing or not. I just hope it is. Selling Maguire this summer would be bigger than any signing possible in my book. Give Ronaldo the captaincy and be ruthless with the squad, says LOL. And Chase Grant, welcome to the Members Club. Look, you know, I personally wouldn't sell Harry Maguire. I've said that before. I'd give him a chance. But I'm tired of the way he behaves, or his social media behaves. I thought that accidental Batman says I've got your back, good. I think that the accidental liking of the post that took the piss out of Ronaldo today is just embarrassing for Manchester United. And I think the fact that we have to say, you know, we just have to brush it under the carpet and leave it. He's the captain of Man United. I don't think it's acceptable, to be honest. I think there has to be I think there should be a punishment for it. I think there should be a fine for it. I don't think he should be the captain next year because of it, but he bloody will be. Veli says, stop your hate on Martinez. Oh, shut up, Veli. What are you talking about? I'm excited about the signing of Lisandro Martinez, but I'm not going to say he's going to be a great signing. I don't know whether he's going to be a great signing. I really don't. I don't know whether he's going to work for United. I just don't know. I hope it's going to work, but I feel differently about Anthony. I really think he's going to be a success. I don't know about Malaysia. I don't know about Martinez. I think De Jong's got a lot of pressure on him, but he should be able to deal with it. And Eriksen's. So we'll see what happens. We'll see. Hey, look, if he benches Maguire, I hope he does, mate. I really does. And I know, you know, actually, in fairness, when you're spending £40 million on a centre back, he shouldn't be going on the bench. The problem is, I don't really want to say this. There's a real issue with Varane. I hinted at it a lot last season. There's an issue with Varane. There's an underlying issue with Varane. I'm absolutely convinced of it. Like, the amount of injuries he's picking up, I think he's carrying an ankle problem or a knee problem. Because the injuries he's picking up are the injuries I would relate to somebody who's got a bigger problem. And I think he's managing something. And I don't think he's managing something that's going to get better. So I think next season, Varane will probably not play a lot. And therefore, I think it will be Maguire and Martinez. Not Martinez and Varane. I can't see, I hope I'm going to be wrong, but I don't think Varane is going to play loads of games next season. I think Varane, on his day, is still a world-class centre-back. But unfortunately, I think we've made a mistake. I think we've missed something because I think there's an injury there. I've not had it confirmed by anybody. You can read situations sometimes, and the amount of injuries he picks up, I don't think it's bad luck. I think there is another problem. It's like when you have I don't know whether you've ever had a major injury, but like I had a bad knee injury a few years ago, and it took a bit of time to get over it. And when I came back, it was my left knee, and it still gives away. It still gives way sometimes, but I don't play much football now. But when I got over it, I ended up getting a lot of injuries on my right leg, and I spoke to the physio about it, and he said it's quite normal if you have a knee injury on your left knee, even though the left knee gets fixed, there's a lot of your body. I don't know I can't remember what they said, but they said you do pick up a lot of secondary injuries, muscle problems, and all sorts of stuff like that. And I think this is what's happening with Varane. I think there's a weakness, and I think it's causing injuries and knocks elsewhere. But we'll see. So I think Maguire will play a lot of football next year. And I think it will be Maguire and Martinez probably, with Varane out injured a lot. Hopefully not. Malaysia and Martinez are good squad players, but neither will start, says Sean Turner. Anthony up in the air, De Jong who knows, and Eriksen is free. That isn't ambition at all. It's crap. If Ronaldo goes, I'd give them 5 a 6 out of 10. If Ronaldo stays, I'll give it a 7.5. I think Maguire, like in the comment, could have been a tactic to test the fans' reaction to it. And if they go against Ronaldo, even out over Maguire, says Jake. I think you're giving him a lot of credit. I don't think it was anything to do with that. I think he was on his phone this morning, saw something he wanted to like, and he liked it. Or it was some social media person who did it. I'd forget about it. The club have. They've swept it under the carpet. It's done, isn't it? It's done. Mark, Brand says it's because you overcompensate subconsciously and put extra stress on the other side of your body. I was going to say that, and I think you are actually right. I think if you've had a bad knee injury on the left knee, you overcompensate by protecting it by using more force on your right-hand side, and therefore it can lead to hamstrings and ankles and all sorts of problems. And I think that's what's going on with Varane at the moment. I think he's got a problem. I don't know what it is, but he seems to pick up too many other injuries. I think we should sign Jonathan Klaus at right back. He's 10 million, says Brian. Thanks everyone who's become a member, by the way, tonight. I just want to say that we've launched the United Stand Members Fantasy Premier League today. There's a new video on the members section explaining how you join and showing you some bargains and stuff, who I think are bargains. We're going to do one each week for Fantasy Premier League. So if you want to join and you are a member, make sure you check out the video. get involved. We're going to be giving prizes away and everything this year. If you want to become a member, we do exclusive extra video content. As a thank you, I've done 4 videos on this channel today, so you get loads of free content on here. This is just extra stuff for the members who support the channel. Our next video this week is going to be a deep dive into Lisandro Martinez, comparing him to Maguire and Varane, which should be good timing because I think we should get some development on him tomorrow or Friday as well. Let's have a look what people are saying. Don't write off Lindelof. You know what? You're probably right. Lindelof is a player that could be a player that Ten Hag likes. But I don't know. The fact Maguire can't use Instagram without his big finger slipping is a sign of the kind of player we have captain. Butterfingers and jelly legs, says Aram. Do you want Ronaldo to stay? Yeah. 100%. 100%. I don't really care about personality or who he falls out with or anything like that. Rash, welcome to the Members Club. The reason I want Ronaldo to stay is because I know he'll score 20 goals in the Premier League next year, and I don't know anybody else who's going to do that in that team. Rashford could do it, Martial could do it, but I know Ronaldo will do it. And those 20 goals, if we didn't have Ronaldo last season, I dread to think where we would have finished. If Ronaldo hadn't been there last year, Cavani hardly played, Martial didn't turn up, Rashford had a bad year. We'd have been... I want Ronaldo to stay because I still believe he'll score us a lot of goals that other people won't. And goals win points. Simple as that. One thing that's different in this transfer window is that we are getting players that Ten Hag wants rather than good marketing deals. Well, we're not getting anybody at the moment, Abhishek, but I know what you mean. C-Boy, welcome to the Members Club, and Sam as well. Thank you very much for joining. Do you think Lindelof's better than Maguire? Look, I'm not going to sit... I don't want this to turn into Harry Maguire's a crap footballer thing. He has his... he's very good at winning headers. He just can't direct them very often. He's a reasonable passer of the ball. But I don't think there's a lot between Lindelof and Maguire. I think they're very different, but I don't think there's a lot between them. Lindelof gets bullied. Physically gets bullied. He's not particularly quick. They're weaknesses of Lindelof. He's not particularly quick and he gets bullied physically. I don't think there's a lot between them. They're very different, but there's not a lot between them. If I was choosing who to play with Varane, I'd play Lindelof. If I was choosing who to play with Martinez, I'd probably play Maguire because Martinez is 5'9". Lindelof gets bullied. You'd probably need to play Maguire because of the physicality. But I'd worry about Maguire if Ten Hag tries and plays his centre-backs like he did for Ajax, because if you've ever watched Ajax centre-backs, they play high, they dictate the play, and they cover the flanks, and they've got to be mobile. Well, Maguire doesn't like being left on his own, and he's not particularly mobile to cover the flanks. So, yeah, I think it'd be very difficult for Harry Maguire to play in a back four where he's left on his own and covering the right-hand side while Martinez is covering the left. But I don't necessarily think Lindelof would be that great at it. I don't know. It's difficult. I don't think there's a lot between the two, honestly. I'm struggling to trust Ronaldo's stance on United. He said back in May, United must trust Ten Hag with signings he wants, but now doesn't like Ten Hag signings. But we haven't had any signings, Daniel. What are you talking about? How can he trust Ten Hag signings when we haven't had any yet? Mark, write this down. Lindelof is going to be our Van Dijk under Ten Hag, says Ivan. I hope so. Look, people don't talk about Lindelof. They don't talk about Lindelof. They don't really talk about Delo. They don't really talk about McTominay. People talk about Rashford and Maguire and Bruno and Sancho and say Ten Hag's going to improve them. But what if he turned Lindelof into a top centre-back? Or what if he turns McTominay into a top midfielder or Delo into a top right-back? You don't know. I'm sure he's going to improve some people. Bone, thank you very much. Welcome to Members Club. Hi, Mark. Do you think the Glazers' lack of transfers in an elaborate scheme for them to join the lineup and show their footballing ability? Says Jager. Rash says, Maguire, when he joined the club, we finished 6th and was out of the Champions League 3 seasons after we finished in the Champions League spot and had a strong defence, says Rash. He's only been here 3 years. We haven't finished in a Champions League spot every year he's been here. We finished 6th last year, mate. Nathan Brooks, welcome to the Members Club. Man United News has reports of a 51 million bid for Anthony. Have you already spoke about this, buddy? We did a video on it earlier, Damon. Yeah. Hopefully it's true. Hopefully it's true, because I'd love it to be true. You know, I love it. James Ducker in the Telegraph has said in the last few minutes that Frankie de Jong's transfer to Manchester United is being held up by 17 million deferred wage debt. Oh my God. Jesus Christ. Bloody hell. Yeah, this is going to be a big problem, because this is why I don't want to talk about De Jong. This is why I don't want to talk about it being done. I don't think this deal's anywhere near being done. The problem with this deal, and I keep saying it, and I think people are starting to realise it. Do you think Ghana will see Ghana this season? I hope so, Callum. Would you say match-to-match Victor is better, but when they're on their day, Maguire is better? I think that's probably a fair point. Ainsley Harriott official. Yeah, I think in relation to Frankie de Jong, we're all tired out and we're all fed up of it. And I keep saying this. The reason Frankie de Jong is not a Man United player is not because we haven't agreed a fee. It's not because we've not done personal terms. It's got sod all to do with us. We've got a fee and we know what wages we're going to pay him. The problem is Barcelona. And Barcelona is ridiculously difficult to read, even if you're a Barcelona fan. Nobody really knows what's going on. So we can't get Frankie de Jong until Barcelona get their house in order. And it could be that they want to sign Lewandowski first, or Koundé, or someone else. Or it could be they owe Frankie de Jong 17 million euros. And he's like, I'm not going anywhere until you pay me the money you owe me. And Barcelona are saying, we're not going to pay you the money we owe you. We're trying to rebuild a club. And we're not going to take the money off the fee so Man United can pay it. So this could run and run and run. What do you do in a situation where Barcelona wants 60 million from United? We're willing to give it them. We're willing to pay Frankie de Jong over 300 grand a week. But Frankie de Jong is saying, they owe me 17 million quid. Someone better pay it before I go. Well, United can't add 17 million onto 60 to get Frankie de Jong and pay him off. Barcelona don't want to give him 17 million because they want to buy players. So how do you resolve this? How do you resolve a situation where a player is owed 17 million euros, Barcelona don't want to pay him, and Man United don't want to pay him? What do you do? There has to be a compromise, because if Barcelona don't pay him and we don't pay him, we don't pay Barcelona for him. And then on top of that, De Jong doesn't want to leave Barcelona. So I just really, I'm out. I'm out with Frankie de Jong. I believe we will get him, but you know, how long's a piece of string? I've got no idea when it will happen. All I know is it's not going to happen before Friday. I don't think it'll happen before next Friday. It might not happen before the end of the month. I just don't know anymore. And to be honest with you, I don't really care either. It's not my problem. It's Ten Hag's problem and it's Man United's problem. And ultimately, they should have seen this problem coming, because Frankie de Jong's been owed those wages and everyone knew about that for a long time. We've been working on this deal for nearly 3 months. And when did Gerard Romero break this deal? Like, you know, it's 2.5 months ago, isn't it? 2 months? I don't know. What I don't understand, and I'll never understand, is this would have been very obvious to people involved in the deal. They would have known this from the start. I don't understand why Manchester United had the stance that they weren't going to do any other business until they bought Frankie de Jong. That I'll never understand, and nobody's ever been able to explain it. Why could we not do other business whilst working on Frankie de Jong? Why couldn't we go and get Anthony? Why couldn't we go and get Lissandro Martinez? Why did we have to? Why did we spend all summer on de Jong? And I tell you what, if it's because we've got a limited budget, get out. Get out. I'm not interested in that. So look, all will come out in the end, but it's baffling, Lee. I tell you what it is. I wonder if there are people at Man United who realise the stress and tension they cause their fan base. Like, is there anybody at United, Richard Arnold or somebody, sat there going, yeah, you know what, taking all summer on one deal is going to really piss off the morale of our fan base? Do they actually do they actually know that? Because I tell you what, bringing Erik Ten Hag in was really motivating and exciting in the middle of May. But we're approaching the middle of July and we've done sod all. And that's really demotivating and not very exciting. For a club that really, really wants to make money, and that's what it's set up for by the Glazers. I can't believe how low the morale is in the fan base at the moment. And they're launching a kit on Friday. Like, imagine how many kits they would have sold if they had Anthony and Frankie de Jong and Ronaldo was staying and we were off to Australia. Like, the buzz, those kits would have flown off the shelf. Do you think they're going to... I mean, people will buy them. They always buy them. But they're not going to get the sales they would have got. And I'll go back to what I said at the start. I spoke to somebody 2 weeks ago quite close to United and they said, this is not going to plan. This is not what they wanted to happen. But they probably should have seen a lot of this happening, especially around de Jong. Walk away from Frankie de Jong or we end up with no signings as oddball. I think it's too late to walk away from Frankie de Jong. I know a lot of you have said that. I personally feel it's too late to walk away from Frankie de Jong. It's all or nothing now. You know, it's like standing in a queue, isn't it? And you move so far with the queue and then it's too late to go and standing in another queue. We're going to have to just see this through. And if we end up looking like idiots, we end up looking like idiots. But we're going to have to see it through. I'm honestly not long excited over him anymore. I think we should have gone for Kante, says Chris. I think the de Jong deal is just odd. It's a very weird transfer to chase a player that doesn't want to come all summer. That's at a club where there's massively financial issues. It's just a weird transfer. And even when we do get him, there's massive pressure on him to succeed. Would it be smart to pay the wages and get it off the transfer amount, or maybe write off the 13.7 as add-ons and just pay 65? It would be smart, Srinvasan, but Barcelona don't want that. Barcelona want us to pay 80 million euros for de Jong because they need that money, but then they don't want to pay de Jong what he's owed. That's what's going on. Like, that, you're very logical. Just take the money off what we're paying Barcelona, but they won't do that. They're like, no, we want the fee for de Jong, and we're not paying him his wages either. So how do you resolve that? It's time to walk away from Frankie de Jong. Probably was a couple of weeks ago. Too complicated, expensive, and he doesn't want to come. Ridiculous and incompetent, says Sam. I still believe we'll get it done, Sam. I do. I think we've gone too far, but it is a mess. Mark, do you think there is a striker out there for United, and if so, who? It's here. It's me. Give me 2 weeks. I'll play a bit of five-a-side. I'll do it. Goldbridge. Watch me on FIFA. No, Darren, on a serious note, I think you go for people like the lad that Newcastle were linked to. Was it Ekatike, who's a bit unknown? Or you end up going for someone like Danny Ings. And I don't think there's a striker out there. I think the two strikers are gone, Nunez and Haaland. They're the two A-star strikers. Anybody else is a risk, and they could be an expensive risk as well. And at this late stage in the market, you probably end up paying a lot of money and overpaying as well. If the board thinks Anthony is Ronaldo's replacement, does that mean they're putting all their faith in Rashford to actually be a striker, which is scary, says Rash R. I don't think Rashford's a striker. I don't think he's got the ability to play with his back to goal. I don't think he's got the ability to feed people around him and link up the play. But one thing I would say is Erik ten Hag's a very clever guy, and he might use Rashford as a striker in a way other teams don't use strikers. You know, when I think of Rashford at his best, he's running fast, he's committing players, and he's getting a shot off. When you're a striker, it's very rare that you get to stretch your legs fully. You're in the box, there's lots of people about. It's about movement. It's about movement. It's about link-up play. It's about holding the ball off. You know, it's about a snapshot here and there. I don't think that's Rashford. I think that's Martial. I think Martial can do it. Rashford, for me, is a wide forward. That's what he is. And he knows that. I don't think he's a centre forward. But nothing would surprise me with Ten Hag. He might find a way of making it work. I'm worried once the tour starts and we start getting interviews from Ten Hag, one whiff of defending Glazers in the club and the fans will be so down, says Aram. He's going to do that, you know. He is going to do that. I wouldn't even criticise him for it. I hope I don't. He's going to do that. He's going to be asked about the transfer market. He's going to be He's 100% going to be asked if he's happy with the transfer market, and he's 100% going to say he is, because he's employed by the Glazers. He's not going to sit there and go, "I'm bloody disgusted. What a mistake I've made." You know, he's not going to do that. So I wouldn't hold it against him. Think Anthony and Erik ten Hag's Tadic, that was for Ajax, as Salah Ahmed. But would that work in the Premier League? You know, false nine doesn't always work in the Prem. Anyway, look, I'm going to go and watch the second half of the Euros. Thanks, everyone, for watching. We've spoken about the James Ducker tweet. We just spoke about it for 5 minutes, Marsha, so thank you very much. Please do subscribe to the channel, by the way. I've really enjoyed the show tonight. We've done a lot of shows today about very distinct topics, so it was nice tonight to be a bit more interactive. I like doing that on the 8 o'clock show. Please do subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. Also, massive 24 hours for United. It's Judgement Day tomorrow. Let's see what happens. We'll be back in the morning unless something happens tonight. And reminder to the members, if you are a member, check out the Fantasy Premier League. I put up the video at lunchtime. If you want to become a member and check out the video and get involved. Looking forward to that. I think we've had quite a few people enter already, so I'm looking forward to it. Can't wait. And don't forget, Manscaped, 20% off, free worldwide shipping. Trim the grass to make the yard look bigger. Fantastic products. You won't regret it. Links in the description, or hold your phone up and scan it with your phone camera and use the code United Stand, or it will do it automatically for you. Really good products. If you're a man, check it out. I nearly took my ear off there. It wouldn't do that. It doesn't do anything. Look. And no, don't worry, I've not used that one. This is a model one. Yeah, really good. Check it out. Thanks for watching. Speak to you in a bit.